Hi gang, it's Kelly and it is July 1st, 2019 and that means One Book July. First time I have really fully immersed myself in One Book July, but I am super excited about the theme this year and so I am jumping in. So just to give a little backstory, what I have been using to date in 2019 is two planners. One is a Hobonichi Weeks, which I don't have with me at the moment, but typical forward planning and weekly planning. And then I've also been using a Personal Rings, most recently this Kate Spade, but also Filofax Malden. Really the cover changes out, but the inside pretty much stays the same. And in here I've been using also monthly layouts as well as daily pages. So when I would feel the need to really have a daily, this is where I would come. And so, yeah, more or less, this has been it for like several months. But I was super excited to learn about the One Book July challenge for using the bullet journal method. Now, I've watched a few videos on the bullet journal method, but I've never really sat and gone through really just the basics. People have modified the bullet journal method in so many different ways to suit them, and that's great. That's kind of awesome about it, and I think that's partly why I'm so excited. But to really know how it will work for me, I really do have to get back to the basics. So I am reading Ryder Carroll's book. I'm about halfway through. So I did get through that method section, which I really enjoy. And I've got a few tabs in here basically showing key concepts, which is really good. I've been referring back to this as I'm adapting and getting used to this method. And then also I love page 118. This is basically how to set up your bullet journal. So if you are a beginner like me, setting up your very first bullet journal, here's all the basics. So a lot of folks are adapting the bullet journal method to go into their ring planners. I think that's an awesome idea. That may be something I do in the future. But for now, I am going with the typical bound notebook. So I'm attempting to put all the things in one place. So this is an Exceed notebook from Walmart, so very inexpensive. It is a dot grid. So there you have it. And it does come with a ribbon marker, which you can see I haven't quite started using yet. But here is that ribbon marker. So I think this was maybe $8 at Walmart. And just to show you how I am starting off, pretty simple. I did kind of use this page. It was glued to the cover a little bit here. So I used this page with the pencil just to mark out how many squares across and down, so that if I'm trying to evenly divide anything, I know how many squares without having to count every single time. I got that idea from Romany. And then standard setup, starting out with the index, 4 pages. I did the future log. I did use some stickers that I had here because, you know, while I'm keeping this simple, I do want to use what I have. So this is the rest of 2019. I love, because we're starting in July, 6-month spread covers the rest of 2019. And then I did include all of 2020 because I know school dates are coming out and I'm going to need to write those down. So that way, if I do stick in this book, there's really no limit. I can get a whole nother year in here given there's enough pages. So we'll see how that turns out. Then I have my monthly spread. So I am following the typical calendar on one side, tasks on the other. I'm also adding in some bills here so you can see I'm just trying to track those monthly expenses. And then here is my very first daily layout. So I did add the temperature here. I do like to track that, especially I'm a runner, so the days that I run, sometimes how I run is related to the weather, how well or not so well I do. So I do like to have that as a reference there. I am using Ryder Carroll's typical bullets, so the dot for a task, circle for events, and then the typical, I don't have any notes here, but the dash for a note. I have added, you may see on my monthly, I have added a $sign next to paydays. So that's a little signifier that I've added. And I have also added a signifier to identify work-related tasks relative to home or personal tasks. So I do want to try to put everything in one place, which is new for me. In the past, I have had a separate work planner from my personal planner. But in this case, I am attempting to put everything in one place and then just use the signifier of a W next to those things that are work related. So far I do like it. We'll see long term how I feel about it. But there's that. And that's pretty much it. So I'm off to a decent start, I think. First impressions, wow, I really got a lot done today. So I think it did certainly help me to focus on what I wanted to get done and really just work down the task list and knock out a lot of things. So I am hoping to maintain that great momentum going through the rest of July. So I will try to update regularly. But until then, I hope you're having your own learning experience with One Book July, and happy planning.